Although I am with one Mama Mudhoni because August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And I want to know, why is breast best?
So one, baby gets better immunity, has lower cases of respiratory diseases, has lower cases of childhood cancers, obesity, childhood diabetes, and all these other issues. For mom, it actually lowers your risk of ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, breast cancer. And this is not only when you're breastfeeding, but actually throughout your life. It helps reduce your chances of getting postpartum depression. The feel-good feeling between mom and baby really helps you with bonding. Yeah.
Now, why the title Mama Mudhoni?
Because I'm a mom. So, interesting thing. All my life, like from the time maybe I was a teenager, I always thought, why would anybody call themselves Mama so-and-so? When you don't have a life.
Sas Mutungi calls me Mama Ray. Sas Mutungi has stopped calling me Olivia Otieno. Sas Mutungi has stopped calling me Double O. Sas Mutungi, whenever I call her or she calls me, always says Mama Ray. But I love it, honestly. So tell me, why Mama Mudhoni?
So like I was saying, I never used to think I would ever refer to myself as Mama so-and-so, because I always thought you're losing your identity when you're calling yourself Mama somebody.
Yes.
So even all my aunties, I call them auntie so-and-so, auntie so-and-so. Anyway, when I became a mom, I was slapped.
What?
Slapped by motherhood. I was shocked.
Yes.
I never imagined motherhood would be what it was. So all we hear about is how beautiful it is
not as seen on TV.
Exactly.
Those mothers are lying to us. They are liars.
Motherhood is beautiful, right? Yeah. But it's also really hard. And I never imagined it was as hard as it was. So that's how I started talking about motherhood. And for me to be relatable to Mama Ray, or Mama Susan, or Mama Njoki, I just started using the name Mama Mudhoni so that each time I tell a story about that, imagine you're not alone in the struggles, because I really used to feel lonely. And I really used to feel like I'm the only one crying, or that I'm the only one struggling. And then with time I realized, no, we are all struggling. And even my tagline is, remember, you're doing great, Mama. Love, Mama Mudhoni. So that you don't feel like you're alone. It's not Wangeci, a professional, talking to you. It's Mama Mudhoni who's gone through or is going through the same struggles as you, so you can relate and you're not alone.
Recently I received a phone call and someone said, have I woken you up? And I said, dude, I am the mother of a 4-year-old. We are, only a man would ask you a question like that, knowing you have a 4-year-old. Are you awake? We are always awake. We are awake.com. So I appreciate that. And I want to find out why there's so much stigma around breastfeeding. Noon, you are listening to Double O Direct this Pan-African Women's Day. I am Olivia Otieno, taking your requests. I am. I'm not just hanging on to them. We'll be dropping them from 1 p.m. Use at SpiceFM KE on any social that you want. But August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. And because of that, I am talking to Mama Mudhoni. You gave me a whole list of reasons, right, on why breast is best. But there's also a lot of pressure that comes with that. So what can you tell somebody who's currently pregnant? What can you tell that woman?
First is to gain as much knowledge as you can. Make sure that you're researching as much as you can, talking to your doctor. One of the first things actually you need to do once you get pregnant is look at your breasts.
Yes.
And just find out if you have a flat nipple or, do I call it normal, but a nipple that is erect. Most of us have nipples that are erect. Some of us, like me, I used to have flat nipples. So that's one of the first things that you should be finding out. And then asking your doctors what you can do about that. And one of the things that you can do about that is gently just pull them throughout your pregnancy so that by the time you're getting a baby, your nipples are actually more erect and it'll give you an easier time when baby comes.
Yes.
Another thing is that we actually start producing milk by the time you're about 12 to 20 weeks pregnant.
So how can you find that out? Because honestly, I had no clue. I was completely clueless on breastfeeding until my son was born. So if somebody had told me that, I would have done a lot of things while I was pregnant in order to prepare myself for that experience. Because I thought it was natural. I thought, hey, you got a baby, you place that baby on there, it's a wrap. It is not easy. It was a challenge.
It's not. So how to prepare your body? Most things your body already does.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we all don't know, I was very surprised to find out, is that your breasts actually do not finish developing until you get pregnant.
Okay.
So you're born in teenagehood, your breasts start developing a certain way. So we all assume that by the time your breasts have come in, then that means you stop. So you get pregnant and then now they actually finish developing. And that is actually all your body really needs, unless if now you have issues like diabetes or thyroid issues or all these other things that might actually hinder some of these things happening.
Yes.
But that is basically all your body needs
Okay.
to prepare yourself for breastfeeding.
Okay.
One of the things that you can do is actually take a breastfeeding class or take Lamaze classes.
Yes.
Which you can actually find on my page at the Mothership KE.
Yes.
And some of these things will actually give you the knowledge
Yes.
and the know-how to actually deal with the problems that might come
Yes.
immediately when the baby starts breastfeeding. Another way of preparing yourself
Yes.
is to just know that you're supposed to breastfeed as soon as possible.
Okay.
Like if you can actually birth your baby and the baby is put immediately on the breast,
Yes.
that would actually be the best thing, because
Yes.
at that point your hormone levels are so high.
Yes.
And it's very easy now for your body to do what it's actually supposed to do.
I want to stop you right there, Mama Madonna. I'm just going to pause you right there for a second because they tried that with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had 43 hours of labor. I'd had a friend fly from Holland to come on video.
get here.
Yes, it happened. Okay, fine. I was in
Wow.
London, so it wasn't that long of a trip.
Okay,
but
but
the
it's
point of
still
the
a
matter
long
is,
time.
after all of that, I had a CS. The baby was placed on me. I was like, take this baby away. I'm going to drop this child. I have no energy. Right? So whilst you're saying immediately, let's not put that pressure on women, because sometimes it's just not possible. I was like, Ray, take this child before I drop this child on the floor. I wanted to hold my baby. I wanted to feed my baby, but I had zero energy. So alternative.
Let me respond to that. So this year's theme for World Breastfeeding Week
Yes.
is a shared responsibility, right? You gave birth with people around you. If it was a home birth, you had a midwife, you had a doula, you had maybe your partner or a sister or your friend. In hospital, there's a whole team. In theater, there's a whole team.
Whole.
Yeah, whole team.
Yes.
So it's a shared responsibility.
Yes.
It's not just Olivia's responsibility to make sure that this child feeds.
Yes.
So the other people around you, because 43 hours of labor is a lot.
I wanted a home birth.
It's
We
a
were
lot.
trying to have it. Then after 20 hours, they're like, please go to hospital, because clearly this child is not feeling Brexit, wants to stay exactly where they are. And that's what's happening. So, but my story aside, tell me about this shared responsibility.
So shared responsibility basically means that all of us in the society have a shared responsibility in ensuring that a mother is able to breastfeed her baby.
Yes.
So this starts from me and you, right? The doctors, the nurses, the employers.
Wait. Me and you, the father.
Yes, the father.
Before we go into the nurses and the doctors,
The father.
Yes,
The father is compulsory.
Yes.
Compulsory
Yes.
if he's in your life.
Yeah, we were not omitting
Yeah.
you. We
Yeah.
just knew we're one. Yeah.
As long as the father is present, he actually has a very big role to play. The biggest one being support, because in as much as he has useless nipples, as I like to call them in quotes, he does offer a lot of support and security for mom,
Yeah.
right? And if he can give mom peace of mind, make sure there's food, make sure there's no, you know, those visitors who are actually visitors who come to tell you, no, umejiachilia, no, umenona, kwani tumbo yako haijarudi.
My aunt had the audacity to tell me, so you mean you can really get hips? I was like, okay, yeah,
it's
thank
not
you.
the time.
It's not the
It's
time.
not the
This is not the
time.
moment. 43
Yeah.
hours is a long time.
Yeah.
This is no.
It's not the
Let's take it
time.
up in like 2 days. Yeah.
So dad's role is to support you, to bap the baby.
Yes.
If you have no strength, because sometimes in the middle of the night you really have no strength,
Yes.
get the baby from the bassinet,
Yes.
bring to mom, let mom breastfeed, bap the baby,
Yeah.
you know, just make sure things are going okay.
Yes.
So other than that, employers, the government,
Yes.
society,
Yes.
and especially us as women, we need to change the narrative of breastfeeding and give women who are yet to birth a chance,
Yes.
you know, because we all give birth knowing, mi sikuwa na maziwa, si lazima, or boys are so hard to breastfeed, and all these things that really have no scientific or
They
research
say
based.
boys are hard to breastfeed.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Most people believe that boys, like, you can't have enough milk for a boy, which is really not true.
Okay.
It's really like there's no evidence
Yeah.
to support that.
Okay.
There's a lot of myths that we have as Africans or as women that sometimes can be backed up by science.
Yes.
But that one has no backup of science or
All right.
research.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically we all have a responsibility. So for example, with you in the theater, then the nurses who wanted you to breastfeed should have held the baby for you. So, because of course now maybe the man, your husband, would have been a bit scared of doing it because it's a whole really tiny human being, but the nurses would have been able to do that.
No, he was he's a champion. He lived through Afghanistan. He's gone through a lot of things. That wasn't scaring him one bit.
What was it?
No.
Hey, mine was so scared of like the baby was so tiny. He
Alikuwa
kept getting
Afghanistan?
scared. Hapana.
You see?
Hapana. Huyo alikuwa tu hapa nini. Hapa Nakuru ndio the best.
No. Let's not belittle your husband. Let's
No,
continue.
I'm not belittling. I'm talking about war. Like he was not been to war. He's not been to war. Like there's no war. Afghanistan is war, right? He's not been to war.
This conversation has taken a turn, Mama Lori. This conversation has taken
Let's go back to
turn.
breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Where were we?
You were talking about the nurses helping,
Yes,
because
the nurses
obviously
should
the
have helped
husband,
you.
tiny human being.
Yeah, tiny human being.
Yeah.
So the nurses should have supported you
Yes.
in breastfeeding your child
Yeah.
within the first few minutes of you
Yes.
giving birth.
Yes.
Now, that is not always possible. Sometimes the mom is unwell, or sometimes the baby is unwell,
Yes.
or sometimes hospital policies, because
Yes.
all these are new policies actually that are being brought into place. And
Yes.
in Kenya, most times it doesn't happen, especially if you go through
Yes.
a cesarean section.
Yes.
But I would really urge the hospitals and the government to actually follow what the breastfeeding friendly initiative by UNICEF is trying to push. That is breastfeed even before the baby is weighed, even
Yes.
before the placenta is cut. The
Yes.
baby needs to be on mom's breast. And this
Yes.
actually makes the breastfeeding journey a lot easier. Immediately the baby is born, their reflex for sucking is very, very high.
Okay.
And then there are also some hospitals that keep baby away in the name of mom needs to rest. Yes, mom needs to rest, but if mom is away from baby, sometimes we tend to forget you have a baby the first day of giving birth, because it's your first child. So you'll sleep and you don't even remember. So your body is not even, your mind is not really remembering. So your milk will not come as much.
Yes.
But if you put the baby and mom in the same room,
Yes.
then the mom is able to breastfeed a lot more, and that sets her up for more success in breastfeeding than a mom whose baby was put in the nursery for 10 hours.
I agree. I'm going to talk about latching and nutrition in just a bit. E94.4 FM in Nairobi. Good afternoon. I'm Olivia Otieno. Happy Pan-African Women's Day. This is 00 Direct, and August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. I am here with at the Mothership KE, aka Mama Budoni, to find out why exactly is breast best. We've talked about so many other things, but you had a specific agenda for me. I know everybody has to take a role in ensuring that the baby is fed. We're going to talk about hospitals. Tell me.
So I feel like hospitals have like the biggest role to play.
Yes.
And this is mainly because most of us birth in a hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the care that you receive in the hospital and what happens in the hospital and what you're told in the hospital is what you believe the most.
Yes.
So just before the break, we talked about breastfeeding within the first hour if possible.
Yes.
And if not possible, making sure that as soon as mom is awake,
Yes.
they breastfeed. Or if baby is away, the thing that now we need to do is to encourage mom to hand express her milk while still in her bed. Hand express into a cup, hand express into a spoon, and let the milk be taken
But
to
you
baby.
told me that it's possible to lactate even before the baby's born.
Yes.
So why don't we teach women how to hand express prior to birth? No one came to me. No one even suggested it's a possibility. Yeah, I was just there thinking I'm fat, kumbe.
So mainly because it's really not a necessity. Like you don't need to learn to lactate before, unless if you have a high risk pregnancy.
Yes.
So for example, if you're carrying multiples or twins or triplets or whatever,
Yes.
or you have preeclampsia and all these things that may make baby come early,
Yes.
or baby be separated from you immediately after birth. So baby has a defect and you
Yes.
know very well baby is going to go for surgery.
Yes.
In such cases,
Yes.
then you'd need to see a specialist like me,
Okay.
and have them walk you through expressing your
Yes.
colostrum and saving it. And most
Yes.
times you express like into a cup,
Oh, so you
into a
should save
syringe.
it.
Yes,
Oh,
into a
okay.
syringe
Yes.
and save it in a freezer.
Yes.
Just in 5 ml, 1 ml, 2 ml, because very little comes out.
So sio ya bwana?
Siya bwana. Very little milk comes out. And actually that's one of the things that makes us fail, or I don't know what word to use. Like most of us give birth and we imagine that we're just going to have an abundance of milk. And that's not
Yes.
the case. Day 1 to day 3 or 4, your milk is very little. And then around day 3 is when your milk comes in quotes. I like using quotes because like I said, you already have milk at
Yes.
12 or 20 weeks.
Yes.
So what I was saying is, if you have a high risk pregnancy, or if baby is unwell and needs to be taken for surgery immediately,
Yes.
then you'd start hand expressing. It comes out very little.
Yes.
In fact, the syringes that are used for saving the colostrum before you birth
Yes.
are about 1 ml, 2 ml, 5 ml is the most.
Yes.
So you'd save this, put it in the freezer, and then immediately your baby is born and taken away. Then now you'd carry this with you to hospital. The hospital would save it for you and give the baby.
Yes.
If something is found out immediately after you give birth,
Yes.
then the nurses have the responsibility to teach you how to hand express into a cup
Okay.
or a spoon, and then this milk is given to baby if baby is awake, or saved in a freezer or in a fridge, because milk can stay in the fridge for about 4 to 6 days, depending on the conditions it was expressed.
You've talked a lot about hand expressing, but me, I was being sold on the marketing of using a breast pump. I was told, no, not this one. No, get that one. That one is electric. This one is dual. I was so confused. So why are you talking about hand expressing as opposed to buying a pump?
So I've just said the first days,
Yeah.
especially day 1 to day 3, your
Yeah.
milk is like, baby only needs, let me put it visually, baby
Yeah.
only needs about 5 ml
Yes.
of milk per feed day 1.
Yes.
So that means your body
Yes.
and your baby are in sync.
Yeah.
So your body will only produce about 5 ml per feed.
Yes.
So now imagine putting this 5 ml
Yes.
into a bottle. Most bottles are about 150, 180.
agree.
So the 5 ml first will mentally make you think that I don't have enough milk.
Yes.
Number 1. Number 2, baby will not be fed from the bottle.
Okay.
Baby will be fed from a spoon or a cup.
Yes.
So this 5 ml needs to be removed from the bottle into a cup, and it's thick. It's like a thick syrup.
Yes.
So by the time you try and remove it from a cup, how much
Yes.
will be lost on
Yes.
the sides of that bottle?
True.
Like really, it's not
True.
worth
It's
it.
like peanut butter.
Then even exactly, or just a
Yeah.
bit like, a bit lighter.
Yeah.
Then by the time even all that is happening,
Yeah.
as in you're just wasting time,
Yes.
and the amount of time it will take also to pump with an electric pump, the
Yes.
5 ml will be too long.
Okay.
So the hand expressing is better.
Perfect.
But
Yes.
with time.
Uh-huh.
So your hand expressing day 1, day 2,
Yes.
your milk comes in about day 3.
Yes.
Then at that point, especially if baby is not with you, babies are the best thing to use to increase your supply.
Yes.
I call pumps baby mwitu. Like they are the, you know what mwitu is, right?
I have no idea what mwitu is, and I'm ashamed to say it. But what is mwitu?
Mwitu is a fake version. You know, like there's Samsung and then there's Samsung. Or there's
Ni kama bwana na mwitu.
mwitu
fake
it's a
husband.
fake version. Like
Okay. The boyfriend.
it's a like how do I it's fake. It's like now there's yellow and then someone else calls it bello. Like it's a fake version of the real item. So the
I
real
agree.
item is a baby.
Okay.
A pump is made to copy a baby.
Okay.
So the baby is the best, but sometimes baby is not available. So if
Yes.
baby is not available, then you use an electric pump.
Okay.
A manual pump will not help you establish supply.
All right.
But once your supply is established, manual pump is good. Or if you
Okay.
have baby and baby is actually removing milk, but you're trying to increase, then you can use a manual pump.
I see all the areas and all the ways I went wrong. I see all the ways I went wrong. Is there more? Please,
There's a lot
other than
more.
the hospital. Yeah.
There's a lot
What else?
more.
Tell us.
So, the reason I really insist about hospital is
Yes.
because sometimes, like if you have a CS or if you had help with like your birth was not natural.
Yes.
Natural in quotes. So
Yes.
natural means you had no medication, you had
Yes.
no fluids given, you had nothing given.
Yes.
If you have any help with birth,
Yes.
it could affect your milk supply
Yes.
on day 1.
Yes.
So if that happens, the hospital needs to tell you
Yes.
that you still need to hand express
Okay.
every 2 or 3 hours
Yes.
round the clock, and especially at night, because
Okay.
between 12 and 5 a.m. is when
Yes.
your milk supply is highest.
Yes.
It's when your hormonal
Hormone
levels are highest.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you do not hand express
Yes.
or pump or feed your baby between these times, your milk supply really will not be the best.
Okay.
So this needs to be told at the hospital level. Make
Yes.
sure mom is, whether she has milk or not,
But do we
let her do the
at
thing.
the hospital? There's a lot that's going on. Let's be honest, you're a new mom. Why can't this be done during pregnancy? Because during pregnancy, you're like a sponge. Anything you're just
Anything.
absorbing. But now, after that ordeal, like I was telling you about my 43 hours, I don't want to know your stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get this human out. Let me have a visit to the bathroom. That's all I need. Those are my needs. If you're telling me, oh, you need, I will not listen. I agree that this needs to be told to mothers.
New moms, yeah.
But can it be done during
Definitely.
the second or even third
Definitely.
or fourth trimester?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And
whose
that's why I spoke
responsibility is it?
about. That's why I spoke about a few minutes ago. I spoke about Lama's classes,
Yes.
which we offer at the Mothership Village.
Yes.
Or breastfeeding classes, which we also offer,
Yes.
depending on what your need is. And these things really, really, really prepare you, because when things do not go as planned,
Yes.
you already have the knowledge.
Yes.
So you already know, once I birth, this is what is supposed to happen.
Yes.
If this doesn't happen and baby is unwell or this happens, then this is what I'm supposed to do. Because also in hospital, remember, you're not
Yes.
the only patient,
True,
right?
true.
They have a million others or 10 others or 30
Yes.
others, and they sometimes do not have enough time to come and hold your hand and walk you through,
True.
especially if you do not have your own doula.
Yes.
Doulas are amazing, by the way. They can actually hold your hand, and you can get a birth doula or a postpartum doula to also hold your hand.
Yes.
We can also give you that at the Mothership Village.
Yes.
Anyway,
And the Mothership Village, you can get all that information at the Mothership
At the Mothership KE,
Okay,
yes.
yes.
And basically our job is to support mom from pregnancy
Yes.
all through her life as a mom.
Yes.
And not just with baby, but also
Yes.
with you. So if you're struggling with just adjusting, because
Yes.
motherhood is hard, we can support you with that. You're having issues with postpartum depression, we can get you a counselor. We hold your hand and give you the village that our great-grandmothers or great-great-grandmothers used to have, that we no longer have
Yes.
the privilege of having.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the class is really important because it gives you the knowledge to know what to do
Yes,
after. But if
exactly.
after you didn't have the knowledge, you can always still call in an expert on day one and just say, I am having problems. Please talk to me. And these days, it's amazing because you can have a consultation on Zoom. The person
Yes.
doesn't even have to come to the hospital or
Yes,
home.
yes.
And then also the first 2 weeks after you give birth are so important because that's when you come into full production of breast milk.
Okay.
And again, I keep insisting the information that you have, either from the hospital or from your birth class, is what you'll apply during those first 2 weeks. And it's really important to constantly be removing milk every 2 to 3 hours. In hospital, we are told every 3 hours. I
Yes.
am not in support of that because every 3 hours is the minimum.
Yes.
It should be on demand. You're feeding the baby, you're not feeding a clock.
Yes.
Because it gets to a point where if a baby is feeding every hour, hour and a half, mom calls Mama Modoni, I don't have enough milk. Why do you think so? My baby is feeding every hour, hour and a half. Imagine it's normal.
Yeah,
Every 3 hours
yeah.
is told so that you do not forget.
Yes,
So that the baby
yes.
is getting at least the minimum
Yes.
of what they're supposed to be getting every
Indeed.
3 hours. But
Yes.
it's still very normal for your baby to be feeding every hour and a half. And as long as your baby is gaining weight and has at least 6 wet diapers from about day 6 of life,
Yes.
then you have enough milk.
We still need to talk about latching and nutrition. I want to know which African woman inspires you. Which African woman do you admire? Hit us up on social. We're having like an online convo at SpiceFM KE, but I'm still with Mama Modoni. And I want to understand, because August is Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Breast is best. Tell me about latching. Iyo ilinisumbua sana. Because I thought it's natural, atajua. But it wasn't that easy. And my son had real trouble latching. So what can you tell new or soon-to-be moms about that?
So breastfeeding is natural, but it's natural like walking,
Okay.
right?
I had to learn to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not natural like breathing.
Okay.
It's not natural like peeing.
Yes.
It's not natural like going for a long call.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that you actually have to learn to do.
And be taught.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes some babies just get it, and
Yes.
especially those who breastfeed really soon after.
Yes.
But sometimes these other issues or other aspects.
Yes.
Flat nipple,
Yes.
baby's mouth is small, or baby is unwell,
Yes.
or the way you're holding the baby is not the way
Yes.
the baby is supposed to be held, and etc.
Yes.
So that's where people like me come in. We can show you actually how to do it, show you how to position the baby.
Yes.
But if you're to just think about it, if you're holding a baby right now, the basic rule,
Yes.
hold your baby tummy to tummy. So that
Okay.
means your baby's whole body,
Oh, is against
whole body
you.
is facing you.
Yes.
Baby's tummy is not facing up or anything else. The baby's tummy is facing your tummy. Whatever breastfeeding position you choose, because there are many,
Yes.
the baby's tummy needs to be touching your tummy.
Yes.
Even if it's a football hole which is under your arm,
Yes.
you still put the baby facing the side of your tummy.
Yes.
Number 2, nipple to nose.
Okay.
So most times we hold the baby and then we take you take your breast and then you take it towards your child.
Yes.
But your nipple should fall just where your baby's nose is.
Okay.
You should not be taking the nipple to the baby.
Okay.
The nipple should fall where the nose is. So
Yes.
tummy to tummy, nipple to nose, and
Okay.
then you tickle the top of the nose, and then the baby will open the mouth.
That's fantastic.
most
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about nutrition? Is there anything that lactating mothers or soon-to-be mothers should be eating or being aware of from a diet perspective with regards to increasing their milk supply?
So I said before, your body is already doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Majority of times, of course, there's the 5% or 3%
Of
which
course.
are not there. But for 95% of women, your body is already doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So it creates the glands that were not there before you got pregnant. It creates the milk, baby comes, baby's supposed to breastfeed. And as long as you're having a well-balanced diet and
Yes.
you're hydrating enough,
Yes.
you don't need to eat anything extra. You don't need the njahes, you don't need the teas, you
Yes.
don't need chapati.
Yes.
All these things are extras.
Okay. Okay.
And I love telling moms who I work with.
Yes.
The reason I do not prescribe galactagogues, even if I sell uji. I
What
can
is a
talk about that.
galactagogue?
A galactagogue is things that support breastfeeding or things that help increase milk supply.
Okay, the
Yeah.
things that you said we actually don't need.
Yeah. So I sell uji, and one of my ujis is called Mama Bora and is actually a Galactago, can help you increase supply. But the reason why I don't talk to moms about it when
Yes.
I'm having a consultation
Yes.
is because I need you as Olivia
Yes.
to believe that Olivia's body can and will be able to do this.
Okay,
But
wonderful.
once I start telling you, you need to buy Mama Bora, you need to buy dill seeds, you need to buy fenugreek, you need.
Fenugreek. Oh my goodness. Didn't I go through London looking for fenugreek? Jeez.
And fenugreek, by this, sometimes has the opposite effect on some women.
no, I once and I was like, done. I'm not going to take this. No
And it
more.
doesn't taste very
it's
nice.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I don't tell you to do that is because once your milk supply increases,
Yes.
Olivia will be believing my milk supply increased because I took insert word.
Exactly.
Dill seed, fenugreek, Mama Modoni's uji.
Mama Mudoni's uji. That was the one. Hiyo ndio
Mama
ilinisaidia.
Modoni's uji.
Yeah.
I took cookies. It will be all these other things other
Lactation
than
cookies are a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll believe it's the cookies or Mama Modoni's uji or the dill seeds,
Yes.
and you'll never believe that it is your body that has the ability.
True.
So I love working on the mom's mind.
Yes.
Like once you believe and
Yes.
once you're able to follow the directives I give you, your milk supply 95% of the time
Yes.
will increase. Unless if you have other issues
Yes.
that now we can work on,
Yes.
but 95% of the time it will increase. Then you can use the fenugreek
Yeah.
to feed a freezer if you want to feed a freezer, not your baby.
Yes,
You know you
yes,
have enough for your
yes,
baby.
yes.
So if you want to feed your freezer, then you can take for
Yes,
extra,
yes.
but not for enough.
Okay.
Once I make you believe that you can have enough,
Yes.
everything else is extra and you can choose to take it or not. And the thing also is these things are usually expensive. So what happens when you're broke and you can't afford it? Because
Exactly.
mentally you already believe it is the uji, it is the chapati, it is this, it
Exactly.
is that. The day you don't have, your mind will tell you your
You're
milk
not.
will go down, and it will go down because your milk supply starts with your brain.
Your psychology. Now, parting words, advice for this amazing start from August 1st, from tomorrow, for why breast is best.
The advice,
Yes.
you can and you will.
Excellent.
You can and you will be able to breastfeed your child. And if you have issues, get support.
Yes.
Come to the Mothership KE on Instagram or
Yes.
the Mothership with Mama Modoni on Facebook.
Yes.
Look for me. I
Yes.
can support you or I can take you to the right professional depending on what the issue is.
Yes.
And yes, breast is best, but sometimes also we talked about this earlier. It might not be working.
Yes.
And I can also walk you through that.
Yes.
And you can and you will. And remember, you're doing great, Mama.
Let's stop shaming women.
Yes.
Have a fantastic Pan-African Women's Day.
Thank you.